Smiley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Saturday, August 13th. So we have the moon in Pisces all day. Just remember, the moon being in a water sign amplifies our emotions, intensifies our intuition, and really puts us in the imaginary realm of dreams and creativity. We are highly focused on spiritual lessons, spiritual connections, the metaphysical realm in this Pisces energy. We want to deeply connect with ourselves and the cosmos. Now, that may put us at a little bit of a tough situation because although we're very empathetic, very compassionate, it's hard to be around other people when you're this hypersensitive because you pick up on other people's energies, and that can feel very overwhelming if you do not have strong spiritual boundaries. Now, the moon in Pisces wants us to go with the flow, wants us to ease up a bit. We want to relax. Why? Because Pisces energy is the last energy of the zodiac wheel, which means that we are bringing things full circle, but we do have to kind of detach and disconnect in order to see all the pieces come together and snap together. This is going to be a great time to really pay attention to your inner realm, the dreams, the insights, the intuitive gut feelings coming at you, and make a note of them because they're going to make a lot more sense towards the end of next week than they do in this particular week. Why? Because we're still in the full moon energy. We're still in the Lionsgate portal. That will be coming to a close here, and things need a little bit of time to settle in and simmer. There are 10 different aspects here today. All 10 involve the moon. This is a moon day. On Saturday, which is ruled over by Saturn, we are going to have a little bit of a challenge to really keep our dreams in check with the realistic, perspective that we need to have about what is actually possible. That Saturn energy tends to somber things up a bit. We do have to fight off that negative narrative with Saturn's energy. We do have to get a little bit grounded, but of course that moon in Pisces has us floating around in la la land, and it's very hard to strike that right balance. The moon is going to make an interaction with Uranus, the Great Awakener, right out of the gate. It's a positive one. This is definitely showing us where there are new visions coming forth, new insights coming forth, where we can see the bigger picture, especially leaning in on our intuition, on our dreams, on the ability to see what it is we actually want to create for ourselves moving forward. This can really jolt us in the emotional realm. We do have to kind of expect the unexpected when Uranus is at play. And because we're still very much in the full moon energy, those insights, those aha moments, those light bulb moments are still coming in hot and heavy. The moon will be making a very positive aspect to Venus. Venus, as you know, just moved into Leo energy just hours before the full moon popped off. If you haven't listened to that astro forecast, go ahead and do so. We are in love with Venus being in Leo. We are letting our hair down. We want to have fun. We want to entertain a little bit. Our inner child is just asking for the vibes to get higher, for us to have a little bit more of an enjoyable experience here in life. The moon in Pisces is down with this, but let me just tell you, the highs are high and the lows are low, meaning we could be in love with love, we could feel optimistic, we could feel positive, we could have all of these insights and knowings, and then all of a sudden, just at the snap of the fingers, suddenly we lose it. We lose focus, we lose the dream, we lose that clarity, and then we kind of dive into the depths of confusion. But this particular energy is definitely helping us to get our vibe right, to figure out what it is that we want, need, and desire for ourselves, what it is that is worth our time, energy, and focus, and what it is that our heart is asking us to pursue. The moon will be making an interaction with Jupiter. Now, this particular interaction would suggest that we are going to have a situation pop off in our exterior realm that really jacks up our emotions, especially our reactive emotions from our ego self. Why? Because Jupiter is retrograde in Aries. Aries is about the ego, about our identity, about the reinvention and rebranding process that we're currently going through. Jupiter wants us to grow. He wants us to improve. He wants us to step outside of the comfort zone and actually see what is possible. He also wants us to shift our beliefs, not only in what we think is possible, but beliefs within ourselves. Now, the moon in Pisces being very connected to the metaphysical realm, very connected to our higher self, intuition, and dream realm, grasping a new vision in these types of intuitive insights is enough for us to actually change the way that we think, the way that we believe, the way that we feel about what we actually are capable of. But this particular situation where it is popping off in our exterior realm will likely magnify our, let's say, insecurities, our doubts, our questions of whether or not we're able to overcome said challenges, whether we're able to bust through the long-term standing restricting beliefs. And we do need this little bit of overwhelming energy in order for us to see where it is that we have to build ourselves back, especially in our inner realm, with a better narrative, a better emotion in a much stronger way. The moon is going to go ahead and semi-square Pluto. This is going to add to the difficulties of this inner narrative that is likely becoming a little bit weighted, a little bit over-exaggerated. We are really struggling to have the confidence, to have the self-esteem, to have the optimism that we had just a couple of hours ago when we had that vision, that dream, those tingly feelings of love and optimism. Now, this Pluto energy is, again, about transformation, first in the psyche, then in the heart space, before we can align our heart and our head to go ahead and engage our physical body to actually make the changes and transformations needed in our physical reality. This particular energy is going to feel dark, okay? The moon in Pisces at this point is wanting to run, wanting to hide, wanting to detach and disassociate from reality. We don't want to deal with the fact of the truth of the matter, which is our pain, our trauma, really reminding us of all that we've experienced to keep us in a state of fear paralysis. Okay, this is essentially where the dark force agenda starts tapping into our mental plane, trying to talk fear into the optimistic, hopeful dreams that we just realized earlier on in the day. What's going to come out of this is we are going to see where a change and transformation in our thinking is needed the most. When we change our thinking, our understanding, our perception, it changes our emotional field. When we change our emotional field, we change our vibration and frequency. When we change our vibration and frequency, we're able to align with a potential path and moving forward that would not only heal the wounds that are currently in our face, alive and well, trying to keep us in a state of paralysis, but it also positions us to move up in the level of consciousness, of enlightenment, of understanding the spiritual lessons, the spiritual process that we're all currently going through. The moon is going to make a very positive, harmonious aspect with Mars, the god of war. Mars, of course, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, even our anger, if need be, is in the fixed earth energy of Taurus. Heads up, we are wrapping up Mars's time in Taurus as we move into next week. We are preparing for Mars to make a jump into Gemini, which is going to be an exceptionally long spiritual life lesson here, taking us into 2023. We'll talk about that a little bit more, not only in the ascension forecast for the week, but if you need to go back and listen to August's energy forecast, I do kind of highlight and summarize why this transit is so long and what it could actually mean for us. There is an astro forecast coming out specifically for that event later on this week. However, the moon and Mars working very well right now to figure out where it is that we can really align with a new inspiration, a new motivation to actually go ahead and assert ourselves in our physical realm to get down to the nitty-gritty of making the changes that we know that we have to make in order to align with the vision, with the dreams that are now coming in, that are now kind of being activated in us to actually pursue. Now, what I would say is we want to err on the side of caution, because if this is a negative manifestation of this energy, we're going to be irritated, frustrated, and angered, and feel very overwhelmed with that. But There's a lot of positive aspects that would suggest that we're able to stay away from that shadow element and we're able to dive into the positive elements, which are us really feeling a brand new inspiration and motivation to actually heal, to change, to transform, to align with the path that we need to be on in order to see our physical realities actually change into the environments that we're currently holding in our vision and trying to manifest. The moon is going to oppose Mercury. This is going to be a little bit of a cluster F, 3:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to make a note of that, just understand that at this particular point in the day, things are going to get a little bit choppy. Why? First of all, the moon, our heart space, our emotions, our memories, our, let's call it, past self. Mercury, our mental plane, our thoughts, our headspace, our inner narrative. Now let's break it down. First of all, the moon in Pisces sits across from the Virgo energy that Mercury is currently sitting in. Mercury is in its place of power in Virgo. So if you need to go back and listen to the astro forecast that I put out for Mercury being in Virgo, go ahead and do that, because what you may need a refresher on is the fact that we have a hard time with Mercury being in Virgo to dream, to be emotional, to really kind of tap into our intuition, to our metaphysical realm. Why? Well, first of all, Mercury rules over the lower level intellect, which is more connected to our ego self than our higher self. And Virgo energy is an earth energy, very connected to the physical body, to the physical circumstances, to the physical environment, meaning we are only kind of reacting, if you will, or formulating certain ideas, plans, and understandings based off of our physical reality. While the moon in Pisces wants nothing to do with our physical reality, wants nothing to do with the here and now. We are quite content to live outside of our physical reality in La La Land, doing everything to do with dreaming, to do with creativity, to do with intuition, to do with insight, to do with soul self. So we are going to see our heart and head be at war here. We are going to feel the disconnect because our emotions are going head to head against our intellect. Our heart is going against our head. This is going to create a huge disalignment, unalignment, disagreement within ourselves. We are definitely jacking up the sensitivity factor. Again, moon in Pisces, it's hard to not be overly sensitive. But the Mercury in Virgo energy can be a little bit rigid because, again, we're very matter of fact. We don't really have a lot of openness when it comes to the emotional realm. And we could be spitting off words that are very true, very down to earth, very honest, very vulnerable, but it comes off very rigid, very harsh. We have the potential to not only hurt other people's feelings through misunderstandings and miscommunication, we actually have the ability to hurt our own feelings, getting caught up in the internal narrative that Mercury being in Virgo tends to highlight, which is a little bit of a negative one because we're highly judgmental, super critical, especially of oneself. We're picking things apart. And the moon in Pisces tends to over-exaggerate, over-amplify whatever it is that we're thinking and feeling. And if we're not on the good side of the feels, we're going to feel like we're suffocating. This could be a particular energy, again, at this particular point throughout the day, that we start kind of losing our minds, losing our shit, losing our focus, losing our dream, losing our stability, because our heart and our head needs to fight something out in order to find a common ground. To amplify that, the moon goes ahead and bumps into Chiron. Yep, you know where we're going with this. There's likely going to be a situation that manifests out of the moon opposing Mercury, again, hurting our own feelings or hurting somebody else's feelings or our feelings being hurt by what somebody else is saying because the disagreement within ourselves is so high that we subconsciously project that out in our conversations. We could get a lot of information a lot of details coming at us that we're just too sensitive to. We take it the wrong way. And then Chiron, who is the wounded healer, is going to amplify those wounds in order for us to move inward to say, why am I so triggered by this? Why am I so activated by this? Because realistically, it's not that big of the deal in the here and now. So what happened in my past? What has set me up to be this raw and vulnerable, to be this triggered and activated by what was said, by whatever came at us, by whatever was popping off? This is really going to amplify for us the wounds. Now, yes, this is going to be uncomfortable, but one thing that we need to keep in mind is that the moon in Pisces heals on a soul level, okay, on a karmic level. So we almost have to sit in the funk. We have to feel this discomfort. We have to feel this pain and trauma in order to actually heal it. The moon is going to sextile the true node, which is a good energy because it tells me that we've had some realizations and revelations through this little tough funk that we've been in. And this is going to position us to actually see what our next step is, what we want to align with, what we want to move forward with. That true node is our soul's path. It's our soul's purpose. It's begging us to get on the right track to actually fulfill our mission, our dream, our purpose, our soul's fullest potential and expression. This tells me that whatever funk we sat in, whatever it is that we realized, whatever got triggered and activated in us, we're making some really good progress in healing this particular issue. And in healing that, we're taking a step forward. We're seeing a certain amount of clarity. We're seeing the certain steps that we need to take to move away from the funk and move closer to a wholeness state where we can start fresh again. And we will start fresh again, especially emotionally, when the moon moves into Aries. The moon will be bumping into Venus, though, in not the nicest way. Just when we gain a little bit of clarity, we have to really check in with ourselves to see where it is that our heart is at. A lot of heart activations coming in with Venus being in Leo. Our hearts are open. They're very big. We're super sensitive. We're in love with love. Everything is big. Everything is grand. Everything is overwhelming in that heart space. And of course, with the moon in Pisces, us being a little bit more, I'm going to say, sentimental, more sensitive, more hyper reactive to energies around us, we do have to expect that there is going to be a lot of questioning going on with what it is that our heart actually wants, what it is we actually desire. We're so in love with love at this point that we may actually go to the furthest extreme and recognize where it is that we want love so bad that we currently don't have it, which means that we're going to sit in our funk of loneliness and cry and whine and just kind of feel all the feels. If that is the avenue, the path, the energy that you have to go down, do that, because recognize that that is going to lead you into a lot more clarity on what it is that you actually want to do and actually want to pursue in order to heal and fill those voids. Lastly, we have the moon in Pisces sextiling Uranus. This is definitely going to trigger us to want to go with the flow, but we're feeling a little bit blocked, a little bit held back. Now, let me just say, we are moving into a very intense opposition here between the Sun and Saturn taking place early Sunday morning. Not that this is going to trump this particular energy, but we do have to kind of understand that this is a buildup. It's happening in the background. So as happy-go-lucky as we would like to be, as much as we would like to go with the flow, as much as we would like to open up our minds to new ideas, new methods, new ways of doing things, a new path forward, there is this kind of backyard, back office inner narrative that is kind of trying to bring us down. Again, we'll talk more about that in Sunday's energy forecast, but just know that the moon sextiling Uranus is supposed to be a positive vibe, a positive energy, really kind of opening us up for new ideas, new inspirations, new methods, new ways of doing things. We want to move forward. We want to go with the flow of the energy. But again, we kind of feel stuck. We kind of feel blocked. We kind of feel restricted.